Hi everybody, welcome to Xianxia DnD. This is Casey, the man perpetually in a grey t-shirt and making atrocious puns. Sometimes I also run a game. And the game that I'm running...
Is also fun.
That is also a pun. Yeah, I dedicate entire sessions to puns now. I can say that because I just did. Welcome to Xianxia DnD. We are a pun fest. Occasionally we are also a... D&D homebrew campaign that is set in East Asia, set in semi-historical China and China, and we use Talespire for some of our maps, and you can see in the background people are floating along the river. Why are they floating along the river? Because of last week's terrible pun. And this I will leave the four players to introduce themselves and relive the nightmare.
Okay, hi everyone. My name is Richard. I'm playing Elven Bladesinger, effectively Elven Bladesinger, and he is a disciple of Mount Wudang clan, second generation disciple, and he because our campaign is really loosely based off Wuxia and Xianxia, so his martial arts is more towards the transformation of elements. I think that's the best way to describe him. Met the entire party in our very first adventure to the 10,000 Manor. Has been adventuring since then, and we have been going places. I think down the line would be Renzus, I think.
Yes, hello, I'm playing Kugang, a barbarian and former bandit of the Mountain Dogs clan, who, as it seems, may have had much more to them than we knew about.
Hello, is that me?
I believe so.
Okay, sorry, my speaker's a bit soft, so I'm gonna recalibrate. Yeah, hi, hello, I'm Shao playing Cang Tian, a pilgrim monk and sometimes intelligence agent who is traveling around with the party. Where our fates crossed a long time ago when we were at 10,000 Swords Manor. And we've been put into the position of witnessing some celestial disturbances and terrestrial suffering. You can switch it around; it will still work the same as well. Terrestrial disturbance, celestial suffering, whichever.
Yeah.
We are currently stuck in the spirit world. Yeah.
All the same. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, over to Nick.
Hello, my name is Nick, and I'm playing Amu, or also Longmu, who's a wandering swordsman trying to find out more about his past, which seems to link to he might actually be in the bloodline of the previous emperor of China. Functionally, as a character, he's a paladin, and right now he's finding himself going around righting divine wrongs and mortal wrongs and stuff. Yeah, that's generally it.
Okay, and reliving the nightmare of last episode, Shao, can you give us a quick recap?
Okay, sure. Try to do the full honors to the total. So we're starting the spirit world, as I said earlier, and the reason we're starting the spirit world is because we had a terrible battle a couple of sessions ago involving weaponized blood and weaponized boats. B&B, blood and boats. That's pretty much this game now. And had to run away from our very dangerous enemies, which looked to be powerful spiritual beings from age undreamed of. We hitch a ride on a celestial conveyance that would bring us over to different spirit realms, but we're not allowed to access the celestial plane, so we kind of went somewhere liminal in between, and we found our allies because the celestial conveyance was able to bring us to spiritual allies. So that's where, if you followed our series for a while, we have this Ice Xiaoxian, basically literally white grass, white herb immortal, right? Which is basically a celestial ginseng plants, kind of like I would normally say they have achieved sentience, but in this case it's more like sapience, because definitely there was a lot of sap involved in this little guy. So this little plant is with a spirit wolf who might be related to one of Amu's
patrons. Yeah.
Because there's this canine watchful spirit hound kind of aspect to them. But anyway, we ran away from our terrible fight with a bunch of very injured celestial puppies, a bunch of celestial fool puppies, and we also have a few of the mountain dog gang, the sole survivors that we can tell, the mountain dog gang that belongs to the same fraternity as our friend Renzus' character, Wudang. So we're here. We managed to get the Celestial Hound, the Spirit Hound's help in taking care of our injured hounds. We talked shop for a while, and we found out that we were actually closer to heaven than we thought. We're actually somewhere in the Sea of Stars, across the Silver River of the Milky Way. And we have to cross this, in order to get back to Earth, get back to the realm of the mortal world. We have to basically cross this great expanse of a milky ocean, right? That will bring us back from the firmament onto terra firma. Unfortunately, there just happens to be a very big fish that's in the way. We have made contact with civilization of people in this spirit world. They all seem to be people who have been. Essentially, it's what happens if you don't defrag a computer and you don't clear a recycle bin. We've got vestiges of different realities. We got travelers and wayfarers who have been caught adrift in causality broke down, and so they all kind of stuck inside here. We got fish people, we got frog people, we also have this lovelorn divine being who is immortalized in Chinese folklore as the story of the cowherd and the weaver girl, which is basically the celebration between lovers. It's pretty much Chinese Valentine's Day. These two beings only get to meet once a year when the crows fly across to create a bridge across the heaven to allow Earth and heaven to be united, right? So anyway, we're stuck with this guy who usually hangs around waiting for his ride to visit his lover in another plane of existence. He's been pretty kind to us, and he's been giving us some pointers on what we should do if we want to get back to Earth, and that involves usually a big fish. There's also a giant tower somewhere there, and which is near where the big fish hangs around, and we haven't really gained the significance of this great tower, except where we know that it's actually a broken pillar. It's actually more like, well, maybe slightly nudged and badly broken rather than totally destroyed. But it's a pillar of creation that had been knocked off its moorings when, in one of the earlier sessions, we witnessed the god of fire, Zhurong, body checking Kong Kong, the dragon of rain, storms, and thunder. And part of that celestial joust involved the destabilization of this pillar of creation. So yeah, there's a bit of a wonky pillar. I think things aren't going very well. There's all kinds of people going missing when they shouldn't, and there's giant fish that might actually be risking their life. I didn't say anything. Flying through the flying through. Okay, flying through the space, and we're trying to go fishing with it. I would say that more fish hunts really not going as swimmingly as we would like it to be. Yeah.
Swimming. I see what you did there.
Yeah. So, sorry for the long wait for this. Yeah.
Okay, so the scene begins. Exhausted as you are, slumped on the Celestial River. You had just recently bested the six-eyed flying fish, and which mysteriously disappeared into the waters of the Starry River. With that, you find yourself at the side of the Silver River, the Celestial River, and all is quiet. The waves, the murky waves, bounce your boat up and down just a little, and in the distance, you see a giant pillar full of radiant radiant crystal, what looked like 7 colors worth of stones in the sky, and you see it pulsing. You had decided last session that you would go towards it, yes?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
You
Now,
need to touch your giant phallic symbol.
well, you don't need to touch it, right? But this giant phallic symbol, just to point out, also has glowy bits. So as you move closer, you hit almost to the mouth of the river, and all I can think of right now is what a damn good place to build a dam. Because I've been playing Timberborn like obsessively over the last week.
Oh dear.
You're otter.
Yeah. So it was awesome. I'm building dams, and there's like looking at and every time I look at a river now, it's like I can just build some like a row of levees down here. I can build a dam. I can like store like a ton of water for the dry season, etc. Yeah.
Damn, son.
Damn. Yeah, I just built a dam. As you move closer to the pillar, you hear you hear a gentle crystal dinging sound coming from the pillar. You hear the wildlife in the background, but you also hear sounds of wildlife for the first time. A gentle ding, like the sound of a crystal bell being hit. Ding, ding, ding. Further in the distance, you notice behind the pillar there is an island, and at the island there seems to be some kind of a cluster of what you've already started to recognize as stars, and clusters of points of stars, but this one looks like a small cluster, and the six-eyed flying fish seems to be circling this. I mean, the six-eyed flying fish is huge, right? It seems to be circling this thing frantically. And it notices as your boat approaches, right? It pushes up, floats along the river. It comes close, but it does not try to attack you. Instead, he's just hovering there, like taking a position between you and the cluster of what looks like glowing stars. What are you doing? Are you approaching?
I'm a bit apprehensive about the fish.
Okay.
Okay. Sure. I'm seeing your HP. I understand your apprehension. So let the people who have not yet been apprehended go forward first. So I am vaguely less apprehensive, but that may change in the next few seconds.
Depending on how much HP you end up taking. Yeah.
How apprehended I am.
Yeah.
I move forward together with Cang Tian.
Okay.
Are you quite apprehended too, or are you?
No, I'm not.
I am pretty apprehended.
Yeah.
I am only like 20% apprehended.
Yeah, but your 20% is like some other people's like 70-80%. Just pointing out.
No. I mean, as in, I'm only like down 20% hit point so I'm like some other people's 8% or 5% apprehension.
Okay, lor. If you say so, lor. What can I say?
As in, I'm down 20% of my hit points, as some other people's like 5 or 8% only.
Okay, lor. You move up closer. As you get closer, right, the fish starts thrashing around more wildly.
Oh.
It's not approaching.
Okay, he seems agitated by it, right?
He's agitated. Yeah, he's agitated by you coming closer.
And also remember that the multicolored stone is the thing that Noah basically used to repair the broken pillar.
That's correct.
So it's getting agitated as we get closer to the pillar, and does it seem to be agitated in the
Pillar or to it?
You've been approaching it so far. Are you
Okay.
going to try and approach the pillar instead?
Can I make
Sure.
a inside check at the fish?
Inside or
Yeah.
animal handling? Animal handling would be a lower DC. Inside would be a higher DC.
Okay.
Do we all get that?
No, you can either have one person roll with an advantage or two people roll.
Okay.
So the intention that I have for this is that does it look like it's trying to slip out from beyond? Like, does it look like it wants to transcend the pillar as well, or does it look like it wants us to get away, or does it think it can open the pillar and can go past or something? So that's
Okay.
kind of like the one suss out.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. Let me roll my sus roll. Okay.
Yes.
My insight is +4, but I don't trust my dice.
Okay, got it. Inside is +5 lah, so I guess I'll roll that then.
Okay.
Then okay, got it. So should we have two people roll? Like, does someone roll animal handling, or would you like to bet on the inside?
Animal handling. Am I remotely close? I got +4. If that helps.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it does. So if you have a +5 for inside and +4, and the +4 for animal handling actually helps more.
Yeah. So in that case, I think it's better to spread our bets, right, and see and try to get two different kinds of information out.
Can.
Okay.
Either that, or I can basically help the +4 and then have a stronger chance to get one piece of information out. Lah.
It's true.
Two rolls better than one now, honestly.
You
Okay.
get two rolls anyway. It's just what kind of rolls you want.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go.
I will
Let's-
go animal handling.
let's three and then see what we get. I
Okay,
think that-
roll it, monkey boy.
Animal handling is 23.
Well done. And what's your
+5.
Shao Han, what's your insight?
+5, so it's 25. Yeah.
Okay. So two different pieces of information. Shao, the animal is agitated. He's not angry. He's not aggressive. He's agitated. He doesn't look like he's trying to slip out from anything. He looks like he's defensive. Like
Okay.
he's trying to warn you against coming closer. And he's clearly afraid of you because you guys just basically beat the shit out of him the previous session, right? Him or her. It. You Kugang, you recognize this. This is animal behavior when you have a it is what happens when you are you're getting too close to an animal's lair where they have stashed their young. So you see this out of behavior from like bears. You see them occasionally. Basically, any wolves when their pups are near. So they're kind of trying to warn you away. They don't want to fight, but they'll fight if they have to.
And
Yeah.
6-eyed flying fish.
And six-eyed flying fish.
Shall we just go touch the phallic symbol?
I'm guessing it may not want to let us close to the phallic symbol.
It's not letting us next to its island, right?
As far as you can tell, yeah. So there's an island that's very close to the pillar of the silent pillar, but you are not entirely sure whether he considers the pillar part of his territory or not.
But the island is definitely a part of it.
Yeah, the island is definitely the part of his territory.
We can probably still go and touch the phallic.
You can try.
Suppose we can try some basic diplomacy, like essentially, I guess you could is there anything nearby? Like what's in the lair? Like I guess the least we can do is we can maybe make
a knowledge nature check if you have it. Rich, you may make knowledge arcana if you have it, but your DC is higher.
arrow arcana because I don't have nature.
Sure. Again, you can roll one person with nature advantage or two people with arcana and on separate rolls.
I get a 16 for Arcana, but what I was actually going to suggest before that was I was going to suggest that maybe you can lay on hands 1 HP and then we signal that we're not going to stay here moving away. Like, basic communication patterns.
Lay on hand 1 HP means that you have to trust you enough to get close.
Okay. Let me see then.
Yeah, it's more likely to like when we get within a certain range, you'll just like start attacking.
I have literally no range.
Hey, Kurzbach, thanks for subscribing. Thank you so much for your subscribe. Let us know if there's anything that you want us to sit down and expound about, or if you have been, yeah.
Hello, Kurzbach.
Kurzbach, yeah. So the fish is just kind of angling itself at the thing. 16 is not good enough for the knowledge arcana roll. Rich, are you? Rich is away.
11.
11's not good enough for the knowledge nature roll either.
Yeah, I guess what I can do is I can kind of use my use one level 1 slot to kind of like word it from far away, like distance, like do the distance healing, right? But
Healing word, is it?
Healing word. That's one of my 2 spells because I'm only level 1 cleric also. So I'm thinking might actually just be better for us to leave it alone and then we go over there. If he wants to pick a fight later, I think we pick a fight in the grass.
So you're gonna like try to circle your way around it, lah. Basically, it's like what I'm doing on the map right now. It's kind of like circling around it. Okay.
Yeah, and I guess like do we still have a boat? We still do.
Your boat is still fine.
Okay, got it. Yeah, we just circle around. Do you think that's okay, guys?
Yeah,
Okay, make me a boat handling check. In case the current start ticking. Yes. Does anyone have vehicles, water?
Yeah, I don't have water vehicles, but can I give someone help by using ship water to give the person?
Yeah, you can a little bit.
Is what ability check? Is this what ability is this tied to for this particular check?
Either a strength or a dex, whichever is higher. Because you're okay, because I'm now super attuned to currents, right? Because I am now part beaver. What has happened is that you have come down a stream, right? And the stream is carrying you actually straight towards the island. Usually what will happen is that the water will start dissipating out either left or right? But most likely the velocity will try and hit the island and then start diverting. So the water tends to be faster along here, tends to be slower along here.
So I will use the daylight because it's still activated. The daylight globe to basically also provide navigation for a helms person. Okay.
Okay. So you can give someone an advantage with that. Whoever who wants to try and navigate the ship through without getting closer, because you have to get through the undercurrent here. The undercurrent is taking you towards the island. Almost naturally, and suddenly you realize why the fishing boats have all been attacked by this six-eyed flying fish. It's exactly because of this problem. It's if you're fish on a fishing boat, right? You have to fight the current literally for at least a couple of meters, or a couple of actually not a couple of meters. Call it. It's actually. Yeah, call it about 150 feet, right? So about 50 meters, which is the size of an Olympic pool, right? And try to divert around it. And if you don't do it properly, right, you probably end up crashing into the pillar. So yeah, please, by all means, who wants to make a roll?
Let the 2 strength-based characters.
Can you have Kukang do it?
Yeah, you can have Kukang do it.
You get advantage for your roller.
And you angrily steer the boat. Angry! I'm so angry in the water.
Behold, our boat is now known as the Wrath of God.
26.
36?
26.
Oh,
Not possible
26.
for
Yeah, 26 is good. 26 is a darn good roll.
Kukang's rough.
Okay, you steer, you push your boat by sheer force. Hey, Rara's here. Hi, Rara.
Hi, Rara.
Wrath of God. Hey. So yeah, I mean the crew is trying to steer desperately away their ship from. Oh, it's the raid. It's the T4C raid. Hi. Oh, I didn't realize. Of course, it's the T4C raid. What else would it be, right? Hi, how are you all?
Hello, everyone.
Yeah.
Oh,
How did the vamp game go? I followed until about 8:50 and but I was in and out because I was settling the kids to settling the kids to bed, and then after that I was kind of like, yeah, I can squeeze in about 30 minutes more of dam building here.
damn building.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm an obsessive beaver now. So you push your.
Iron is hard, right?
I'm sorry. What did you say, Shao?
Wood is easy to find, but metal is hard, right?
Yellow.
Yeah.
And the fish seems to be just placing itself like in a way that is interposing itself always. He's always putting himself between you and what looks like its lair. As you head towards the pillar, you manage to gently bump against the base of the pillar.
Try to anchor the raft onto the pillar.
Yeah, sure. You can find some rope. It's actually fairly narrow for a tower. You don't know. You know, any of you who are trained engineers will instantly realize that this thing actually has pretty bad structural integrity, because it's 100. It's like the base is exactly the same as its height.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, there's a second thing that you notice, right? There are no obvious entrances in this particular pillar. You've bumped into it, you've touched it, right? And the minute you touch it, right, you hear the ding, the gentle tinkle of bells again. Ding, 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 ding.
This is the 7-colored stone that Noah used to repair the fabric of reality, right?
Yeah. This is the pillar that Zhu Rong and Gong Gong damaged in their fight during the primordial days of Earth. And this is the damaged pillar that was patched by Nuwa using the 7-colored stones. And also the slightly off-kilter pillar, which causes stars to move in a southwesterly rotation.
Yeah, because essentially what is it like? As a result of this, is the axial tilt.
That's exactly right. Yeah, it's the axial tilt.
Okay.
It was you know, it's like one of those things I'm really amazed by is that not only did they observe it, but they conceptualized it into a story about support pillars and relating it to the axial tilt of a galaxy. I always find it amazing. Yeah. So anyway, there are no entrances, but this thing looks like it's almost patched together, and it looks leaning precariously in the southwesterly direction. The fish sees that you have approached the pillar, right, and has decided to hold position for just a while, wondering what you are about to do.
I pull out rope from my backpack, and then I'll tie it.
Okay, yep, you're tied around
tie the boat around the pillar.
Okay.
And I look at the rest of the party. Do you want to climb up to see if there's another entrance at the top?
Yeah, let's do that.
You can see it. You can see a top. You can actually see a kind of a what looks like a tip to it.
Almost starts climbing.
Okay. Make me. Okay, this is a skill challenge. You effectively have to scale. Yeah, I've never actually measured this. 120 feet up of sheer side, basically.
Can I say, can I help you all with this? Or I can float up first, and we can pass me some ropes. We can tie them together, and then that might be easier than hand scaling the pillar of creation. But you know, perhaps there's a mortal condition. If you would like to go ahead and do it, let me not stop you.
It's like, no, you know, these heavenly celestials they're all like, yeah, actually I can help you, you know, but seeing as this is a challenge for you mortals, let me make sure that you all are adequately challenged. Otherwise, we in heaven are not amused.
is I also have this like end of the day. You only give me one about 5 stars for my celestial delivery. I did not give you the organic engagement.
Amu is climbing.
Okay, got it. I will basically just say I'll just borrow some rope from the rest of the people. Then I just shrug and say I'll try. All right, then I float up lah.
If there is rope, I will conveniently use rope.
Yeah.
Okay, so you float up first, You're expanding your.
So I kind of like I put the daylight and then next to me, and then I float up. So like, hi guys, there's a floating light here. Indicate. Okay.
On the top of the pillar, right? You see what looks like you see 4 statues.
Okay.
One of them you recognize. 3 of them you'll have to make a knowledge religion to recognize. One is the the multi-armed partially snake form of Nuwa. Nuwa is in some depictions, right? She's the mother goddess, right? But in some depictions, right, she looks like she's a naga.
Yeah, a serpent woman.
A serpent woman, right? So she has serpentine coil around her body. 3 of them look fairly familiar.
Is there a Fusi there as well? Is there a serpent man there as well?
There are no serpent men. There are, however, 3 women, 3 maidens that look like her handmaidens.
Okay, got it. I will up there. I kind of take note and then I kind of like throw the.
Okay. Do you have 150 feet of rope? You probably don't. So you're gonna. Oh, you have 120 feet of rope. Oh, okay.
So like because between all of us, since we all start adventurous packs, which have enough rope, right? So I just bring it up and then I coil it together, and I'll take double the amount so that I knot them right, and then I throw down the rope and then I I command the drift group to float down as well so that people can see where they are climbing along the way.
You all really should invest in this thing called a spool of rope because I mean you can go up down here and then I do a handhold down here and eventually head up lah. Because I'm pretty sure you don't have 300 feet of rope. It's like that's a lot of rope. But okay, you do eventually get up and you do see three figures of the 3 figures down there at the. You see the statue of Niwa doesn't need a roll. She's instantly recognizable. But 3 other figures you don't quite. One of them is One of them is playing a Chinese mandolin, a pipa. The other 2 you don't recognize.
I kind of like just sit down there and then relax my breath for a while, and then I kind of like, all right, I think there's some statues. This is the goddess that created the mortal realm from a ball of clay. Yeah, I'm kind of tired, and I just sit down there.
Shall we rest?
You don't have a place to really kind of situate yourself. You're kind of clinging on for dear life, and you just see the 3 statues, right? And at the side of the thing, right, you suddenly reach the tinkling of bells. You hear, "Speak my handmaidens' names and enter."
Huh.
Knowledge religion or knowledge history, or you can guess if you happen to have that meta knowledge.
Knowledge. History.
Okay.
Yeah, I got a.
Damn it! It was a 16 name here.
Okay. You don't know it. Anybody else?
10 on religion, boy.
Okay. Rich is away. Can somebody roll for his knowledge, history, or religion?
What's his modifier? Is probably like 4 + 2 + 6, right? Probably.
Yeah, probably. It's probably a +6 just flat lah.
15 plus is probably 22.
Okay. He recognizes it instantly. Yifan recognizes the 3 statues. He says, "That's the Pipa Devil." So logically speaking, that has to be
Bone Devil and
the Bone Devil and Tati.
I see. That's
And
the three calamities that came to Earth, right? Yeah.
The 3 calamities that came to Earth to punish the I believe it's the
fatuous
the Zhou Emperor, correct?
Fatuous Monarch. Sorry, his name is Fatuous Monarch because that's all the translation.
Yeah. Hunjin. Hunjin. Yeah, it's like you have no more name. You are basically like named Fatuous Emperor for the rest of your life. Anyway, the minute you say the word Daji, who is the only named one among the three of them, you feel the sound of bells tinkle all around you as the wolf, the pillar starts folding outwards and seems to encompass around you as inside becomes out, outside becomes in, and you are transported within the pillar.
Okay.
Chase, I wanted to ask one thing just now. Is there any dust from this 7-colored stone? I just want to collect that as a curiosity. Like any stone, or is it a perfect immaculate? It doesn't decay, it doesn't corrode.
It does decay, it does corrode, and the interesting part about the 7-colored stone is that when it turns to dust, it turns into this very odd grayish, like almost ordinary residue. Yeah.
Can I collect some of these tectites and dust along the way? Yeah.
Sure.
I think you were saying, you were asking something, right?
And immediately as you enter the place, you are absolutely blinded. The light is dazzling. It hurts your eyes to just look upon this place.
Where do you get that thing in the middle?
I made it.
See this guy at it covetously, looking at how to put it for Dragonlance.
I made it because I am, apart from building beaver dams, this is what I do.
It reminds me of finale of Ramon Frost Maiden.
Oh, does it?
Yep.
Wait, I'm looking for. You enter a place where the tinkling of. Let me put on some music for you. In this place where you see this multicolored cauldron bubbling and boiling. You see, of course, in the center of the figure, right, a lady hoisting in the center of it, hoisted in the center of it, right? Her hands motioning towards the cauldron as you see what looked like some kind of molten goo start circulating within the cauldron, and it is exactly the 7 colors that you saw on the outside, right? You see a trail of crystal surrounding it. You see odd bursts of life come up from the ground as if it's spontaneously generating around this mysterious lady with a tail of snake fire, and you see 8 tablets of marble on the sides. And you hear sounds of crystal and bells and the sounds of creation itself. You hear a voice and say, "You have been expected, fated ones."
Sorry?
You have been expected, fated ones.
Oh. I look at the rest of the party members. I look at her. Miwa? Question mark.
Okay, give me a moment. Let me. Awesome Rara says that I have it cuts out when I'm. I suspect it may be a compressor issue.
Looks like fixed.
Okay, Hello, does it work? Oh wait, hang on. Does it work? Anyway, it could just be a background issue. I'm trying with some new settings on my audio. Oh no, not yet. Okay, yeah.
Oh, background music gets cut when you speak.
It must be the noise gate. Hold on, let me disable the noise gate.
Okay.
Hello, does it work? Does it work better now? Does it work better now? Okay, great. So I've slapped on a noise gate onto the audio output, but apparently the audio output just is way too low decibel, so it's probably not getting past the noise gate. Anyway, you sense I have been expecting you, fated ones. Welcome to the Silent Tower.
Not very silent. It's making that bell noise, isn't it?
It is in memory of. It is a moment of silence in memory of those who have passed on to save this creation. He looks at the four of you. You don't quite know why you're here, do you?
No.
No.
Then Cang Tian nods and says, "Yes, I believe. I think I know why why we've been called here."
Why have you been called here then? Watcher of the skies.
I don't believe it's a coincidence that we witnessed the circumstances between the Fire Lord's battle with the Dragon King, with the Dragon Guild. It broke this pillar of creation, and here we are with your eminence's miraculous reforging of this pillar. And I suppose we are here to either collect more testimonies for heaven to observe, or perhaps we are here to listen to how we may aid you in repairing this broken tower.
Manner of speaking, it is both true and not. You have surmised correctly that this pillar has something to do with Zhurong. And he is not just the one that destroyed it so many years ago. He is also the one that is responsible very much for its recovery. Or at least is going to be. You see, he points at this cauldron here. This does not belong to me. One of Zhurong's early titles was the Tender of the Cauldron.
May I approach?
If you believe that would help you, certainly. I would stay close. I would stay away from me, though. My all-ordering energy is being expended at this point in time. It may have some highly predicted results on you.
As I avoid the person and move towards the cauldron, try to see whether it's really the cauldron that is.
Are you gonna walk along the path, or are you gonna just try to jump to the top?
I'm gonna walk along the path.
Okay, as you walk along the path, you feel a chill, and bone-piercing chill just shoot through your body as You step. Every step is just pure agony, and up to here, make me a con check.
Okay, sure. Can I use the imperishable fire to keep me warm?
It's not fire per se. It's not ice per se.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not ice damage lah. Let's put it this way.
Okay, contract 15.
Okay, yep, you can proceed. You can proceed further.
Okay. I will proceed.
You reach about here. Make me a con check at 16.
Before I make any. Okay, never mind. I'll just make the contract at 16 first. Okay, I fail.
Okay. From here, you just stumble exhausted off the path.
Okay.
Perhaps you're not ready.
Perhaps I'm not.
This path is not meant to be walked by a mortal, after all. And you have done well to come so far, but you are still far from godhood.
Okay.
As you walk by, Rich, to your position, you're heading back, right?
Yeah,
or you're just gonna stand? You walk by, right? Can you please make me a perception check as you walk by the tablets?
Case, can I be AFK for about 5 minutes?
Sure.
Yep, I'll be back.
It's 16.
Okay, as you walk past here, you see the name of Duxie on this tablet.
Okay. And then I shift my attention to the other tablets. What other names are there?
Several of them. Some of them you know, some of them you don't. One of them is, you see Duxie. You see let me. Li Jing. The name
Last father, right?
yeah. You see Nurcha. I can't remember what Langshan's
This is the canonization tablets, lah. This is
Correct.
The
correct. You see the Duke's name. You see some figures that you don't recognize, as in the name itself looks is written in a script that you don't understand.
I'm back.
Okay.
You, as you move on, right, as you see the various names on here, right on the last one down here, you see 4 names. Song Yifan, Long Mu. Oh, sorry, 5 names. Song Yifan, Long Mu, Cang Tian Xingzhe. No, sorry, it's a script that you don't recognize. The same script that you saw earlier.
Okay.
It's script, lah.
Yep. And the last one is Kugang.
You said there were 5.
Ah, yes. There is. Ma Shui Xian.
Oh. I look at the figure and I look at Cang Tian. I both say, and what tablets?
Looks like probably the celestial tablets. There's a. Then Cang Tian says something in Sanskrit and says, there are spirits, my cousins, who are in charge of making sure that what is that phrase you have? Tribulations, yes. There's entire legions of angels and celestials that are in charge of creating tribulations to prevent mortals from ascending to heaven, to reach immortality, to reach enlightenment. These pillars here that are pointed at tablets, they are proof that mortals have transcended those tribulations and can be entered into the celestial realm. becoming semi-gods or sometimes demi-devils.
Yes.
I see what you're doing.
But only in 8 parts.
Yes, there is if that is, then I look at the script that he's not familiar with, right? Then are they in Parsi? Are they in Persian? Yeah.
Yeah, it's in Farsi, and there's a name down there that you don't recognize, and I will give it to you later. But it basically translates to the Pursuer of Flame.
And yeah, then I say that there is, then I point at the name, the Pursuer of Flame, probably that very same flame worshipper that we've been just a little bit behind and just a little bit ahead of. Yeah.
He says, she says, all correct, Watcher of the Heavens. You need to know one thing. The canonization of saints happens once every period of time by your reckoning. The fourth one is on its way, is underway right now. And the Pursuer of Flame has manipulated events such that Zhurong's position is open for the first time in 10,000 years.
I see. So I guess he's applying for the position, I guess.
If he does, I'm afraid that would be the end of the cosmos. He would have the right to reclaim this cauldron. And without this cauldron, I will have no ability to continue repairs on this pillar.
See. Okay. That's
Zhurong
now.
Zhurong would have been ideal. Zhurong would have returned to heaven after serving out his punishment. He would have allowed us to continue using the flame. He would not have wanted to see the whole of creation collapse upon itself. The Pursuer of Flame is different. He's out for vengeance. And that makes him dangerous.
Who's the Pursuer of Flame?
The Persian.
That's the Persian fire priest that we've been just a little bit in front of, behind, sometimes involved with as he steals our zombies. Yeah. So
Look at her and ask, why are our names on the pillar?
Because you are viable candidates for the canonization as well. All candidates are named here. All viable candidates. Some are shoes in Nurcha, for example. It would be highly unlikely for him to be defeated in battle. As Li Jing, as is the three-eyed god. These are all almost certain to be recanonized. There are some that will never be part of this canonization of gods. People such as I. People such as the Jade Emperor. People such as the serving court, such as the Weaving Maids. But those who claim heaven's merit, heaven's destiny via merit, these are what the tablets signify. Your candidacy has been accepted.
Yeah, you know, everyone seems to be involved in my fate in some way or other.
Is there I look at the figure and go, then definitely some selection criteria if Zhurong's position is open up for canon.
Zhurong is himself still a candidate for his own position.
I know, but he might not want to take up that position.
Therein lies the problem. There is also one more complication that you should know about.
Yes.
During the time of the investiture, it is very common for calamities to fall upon Earth. Extremely common. And she waves a hand. And she shows you an image. Men in fur caps, carrying bows that look oddly shaped to your eye, riding as a storm, as sand billows behind them. As you see them riding from north to south, and you see them overrun Luoyang. And the camera pans out, and it goes bigger and bigger, and you see a trail of sand smoke head further and further south until it stopped at the border of Xiangyang. And behind Xiangyang, you see a flame, a baleful red flame that burns behind the gates of Xiangyang.
Is this happening now?
For some functions of the word now, you are in the spirit realm. Time passes differently here.
Has this happened?
Or might happen.
Time
I
to
look-
know.
I
Time
look
to
up
know.
at her, like I stare her in the face and I say, "Why us?"
Li Jing asked me the same question many years ago. I don't have an answer for him. Call it fate, call it destiny, call it bad luck. Why are you an emperor and why is he also an emperor? He indicates Kukang. Why is the changer of ways walking together with the walker with the bearer of witness? None of this makes sense to me. And I'm the one that made this thing.
And Cang Tian looks over at her and says, "Well, I'm glad you took the proper time for us to make us out of yellow clay. And but yes, I suppose there's a job that needs to be done. Yes, for creation, the
Yes,
function, as broken as it is.
This woman here dishing out spoilers like no tomorrow.
So you will need us to. There's something I need to ask.
I cannot demand anything of you. Your name is on the tablet. Your destiny is already writ. All that remains is for you to carry it out.
Then I look to Amu and I say,
I don't want to be the emperor.
I never said you were going to be.
there's a flowering of 1,000 fruits of our past lives that have come to this point. And now, well, fate made us friends, but I think I will give up everything in a heartbeat if it means that, this creation that we all call home can persist safely a little bit longer. I do not want creation to fall into the hands of one blinded by the fires of vengeance. So it does not really matter what fate has in store for me. If he is one who has placed himself as a candidate, then I must be counterforce, if nothing else. What is your preference for the candidates that you wish us to fulfill? If Zhu Rong is one of those, what are the others, goddess of humanity?
There are ways in which there are two main ways in which you may achieve canonization. The first of which is you need to accumulate enough merit.
You mean XP?
Well, that is the path of Nercha, who basically killed everything in his path. He is the original murder hobo. But it's not necessarily the only way. Enough merit. Li Jing is by all ways and means much less powerful than his son Nercha, but his merit was gained by being able to tame Naja. So if you think of it that way, that's what she basically puts in mind. And she says to you, "Oh, you child of an emperor, you are exactly like your patron." He smiles and he says, "For a person with such truth-seeing abilities, you can be remarkably stubborn."
And I nudge at Amu at that point at the Erlangsen name. That one. That's what she's referring to. It's like, like you get the third spirit eye, you have affinity with hounds,
But he says, Li Jing was a benevolent official, but he never earned his way up as an official. You are the child of an emperor. That does not make you an emperor.
I look at Cang Tian and I say, but all this, it's not me.
I know. Sometimes you are a happenstance of your birth. Sometimes you are just an orphan that a man that was too burdened by his past had a pang of conscience in raising you.
Well,
part of the candidacy of the canonization of saints is that you are who you choose to be. Your nature dictates certain things, but ultimately it's your actions that matter. You can choose to be emperor if you wish to be. If you do, you take on a heavy responsibility. One that is being shared by Chu Rong even as we speak. He is the god of the south. He will protect the realm. For a time.
should we go to the south and convince him then?
That may be a way of doing it, but he is difficult to convince. He grows increasingly mad by the day.
Then we need to find him.
He is in the south. He is not in Xiangyang, but he is south of Xiangyang. Beware also of the machinations of the pursuer of flame. Beyond this, I cannot tell. I can see the big events, I cannot see the small. But the small are the things that will earn you. He points to the 8 tablets.
Then we go now.
Got an idea. It's like, well, we got a lot of things to do, but maybe could I translate some of this into mortal speak for my companions, great goddess of humanity?
That is what you're here for.
Okay, then I turn to everyone and then I bow and then kind of like put my hands up into the into a flourish and I say, actually, it doesn't really even matter all these gods and emperors, everything. Right now, basically, there's just going to be a very big war, and if we can do something about it, it involves maybe us becoming gods and emperors. I don't know. She doesn't know. We don't know. In fact, the only people who might know is us after we've done what we've done. But if we don't do anything about it, the bad guys will win, and there'll be more suffering. And not only will there be more suffering, even the bad guys themselves also won't be very happy because the path of vengeance will just destroy them as well. So everything's going to end up, you're not going to have any nice things. We're not going to have any nice things. There'll be no little, what's that stupid creature called? Tadpoles that jump into 4-legged fish. There'll be no what's the disgusting feeling? There'll be no mud between the toes in your shoes when you walk through things. It's like, everything would basically be unmade, and maybe we'll be kind enough in another reality for a goddess like that to start creating things again, but that's not always a given. And so very much I think what she's trying to say is she cannot ask anything from us, but we are in a position where we can fight and try to make things, if not better, prevent them from getting worse. So why us? I don't know, but every time we take a sword and point it at someone, I guess maybe we can have more empathy now for the sword. Why did we choose it to be a tool of murder? So that's our fate. Do you want to get involved in a big gang fight with a bunch of people who want to do terrible things to the powers of heaven and earth? Or would you prefer to step out now? I think that's pretty much what she's offering us. The mercy of taking away.
She nods and says, "That is all I can do. I've already told you too much." Yep.
I look at Cang Tian and I reply to him, then this is not a choice. We cannot stand by and not do anything.
You can.
No, we cannot. It would not be right.
You can, but you have chosen, whether you know it or not. Even if you do not think it is a choice, it is a choice. Others would have chosen differently.
Time is passing, and if this is what we need to do, we need to go do it now.
There is no now. Not here. What I've shown you is a fixed point, a result of the investiture. As to what point you will actually return, I cannot tell. I am in a different realm. There has been no reason for me to visit my creation for a long time. But this will happen. You cannot stop it. What you can do is alleviate. You now have knowledge that your peers do not. You've earned it. Call it a favor for saving a few of my fond creations.
I look at Cang Tian and think about and there might be a plan I was thinking about. It has been it's 17% of a plan, not really a full one. But
17%.
Better than 16%.
As the goddess of humanity has mentioned, that the position of the god of fire might be open, and we are on the tablet. Our names are on the tablet. Why not one of us announce the candidacy for the god of fire?
Your candidacy is announced. What you end up becoming is another issue altogether.
Wouldn't that be you? I look at Yifan very pointedly.
The Changer of Ways is a viable candidate for Zhurong.
Yeah, that's also kind of putting a huge sign on your back saying, "Kill me, please, Pursuer of Fire."
It is indeed.
Yeah,
It is indeed. It is also a plan for him. It is also a bait for him to come after me.
Well, a better way to do it would be you do whatever that is, and we go over to the canonization tablets and we conduct some mildly blasphemous acts. Essentially, we erase his name, and then the person who erases his name will be someone who is not the candidate wanting to be a person of fire. So he wastes all his aggression on the person who vandalized his name, while the other person gets to stealth farm merit. Yeah, that's how you do things, alright? You got to basically block their left hand and bunch of red things. You got to do cosmic vandalism, then do cosmic power grinding, power leveling. Yeah.
Cosmic flexing.
It seems that my plan has just been upgraded from 17% to 34%.
He says Niva says you can do whatever you want to the tablet. The tablet will not budge.
Yeah, so basically, it's just appealing to his ego, you see. Why are we in an unknown armies game, Case?
That's
Why-
a very that's actually an excellent question, you know. And
But what-
it why are we in an unknown armies game? Why not? I just got ARC Doom, by the way. One of these days I need to persuade one of you to run for me. You thought I was gonna run, is it? No.
No, it's part of the joy of buying RPGs and never have the ability to run them.
I know, right? I want to.
Hey, I know that so well.
Yeah. Anyway, so
So
today
I say,
is-
we can candidate that lah. We can try to power level the fire thing actually. Maybe it gets so wrong, the pass is blessing to you lor. Then we protect you from assassination attempts.
Zhurong is our cute.
You're not Sun Yat San, and we are in bodyguards and assassins right now.
He says, by the way, please take care of Shui Xian.
Yes, I was going to ask about that. What's the big picture for her, Great Goddess?
She's someone I'm very fond of. Someone who, in carrying out her mission in a past life, took things a little too far. She has been given a chance to reincarnate after many thousands of years.
Then I whisper under my breath, the Nine Tails, and then I basically kind of look at her, and I look at her shadow.
Close enough. She had friends, you know, the Nine Tails. The Nine Tails will never reincarnate. She's trapped in Vega for all eternity. The other two, however,
Oh, then is she my card? Then I basically kind of like look quite suddenly happy, kind of like do a vaguely avian kind of motion as I kind of like put my arms back almost as if I'm preening my feathers and say, "Is that my distant relative?" Then I look for like bird-like qualities of Shui Xian's face. Probably Shui Xian is a bit awkward by me kind of like just looking at her like.
Shui Xian's not here. Shui Xian's back in the village, remember?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that
Back in the village.
Like,
Yeah.
like, you know, does she have, is it a pheasant that
It could either be the pheasant or the peepa.
would be alright? Then
Yeah.
I
You've never heard her sing though. That's the thing. You've never actually heard. Yeah. Never heard her sing.
then I say, actually, Goddess, perhaps now that we are so acquainted
She
and my
nods.
friends are here, may I overstep boundaries of propriety and say something out of turn?
You may say anything you wish. Whether I choose to take offense is on me, not on you.
Did you offer the mortals such an option when you released the three of them in your outrage at the King of Souls lechery? Did you care about the mortals then? So, Cang Tian's voice is very, very neutral. Yeah.
That is an excellent question. She thinks for a while and she says, I did not. And that was the you would think that being a god and having thousands of years of cultivation, having a view that allows you to look through the whole of cosmos, would chill you out. It does not. We remain enslaved to our own attachments. We are just more powerful. I regret doing those things in my anger. That is the reason why I offer you a choice now. Call it penitence.
So you're saying that our entire cosmos is run by people who are as capricious as ourselves?
Well,
Were you expecting anything else?
Consider me disappointed.
A lot of them are very benevolent. Some of them even have far-ranging views. Rulai, for example.
Or get flattened by his bounce.
In all of eternity, I've only seen him act out once. That's not a bad record, I have to say. Guan Yin. She has a fairly good record. A little more on the benevolent side than I would like. But we all have our flaws. This is what being an immortal. This is what waits for you at the end of cultivation. You don't stop being human. You just become more powerful.
Amu is disappointed.
I'm sorry that you are disappointed. I don't know whether you were expecting some kind of heaven's will. But this is as close as it gets.
Well, if I could continue on that, I would not dare to recommend any statements, but I think being to being, what that you are asking to prevent needless suffering is, I think, it's a good sign. So thank you.
She nods. I am taking a risk here. For all I know, the four of you could be absolute shites, and then I would have to find another 4.
I think the moral of the story is that even if we're absolute shites, that might also still be the briefing we got sometimes, right?
She nods.
Because then I say like, all right. I guess here all the way to look at this fire quadrant. How's everyone feeling about this right now? It's like, we've got like revelations about our heritage, about our future, and we got involved and roped into a big cosmic battle that we might still have a chance to walk away from if we prefer. So maybe instead of rushing to another point, maybe the 3 of us should talk about this. The 4 of us should talk about this.
You are welcome to rest here for all of eternity if you so choose. I would consider you shites if you do so, but you are welcome to. Something to help you with your decision making. There are 2 more fixed points of reality that you should know about. She pulls out, right? And you see Duxier in his horned demonic glory. He's anxiously stalking through a line after line after line of clay warriors. Line after line. And he walks through. And he's...
That guy looks like a... How did he get Hellenized? I can't help but say that. How did he get Hellenized?
How did he get what?
How did he get Hellenized? I mean, how did that slip happen?
Well, Tati got canonized.
Yeah, but she was acting on divine order, so who's his patron?
That is a good question.
Yeah.
Not one of the good ones.
Okay.
She walks on, and he reaches out, and he grabs what looks like an orb of some kind, right? A jade, beautiful jade orb. And he pushes, and suddenly you see a red Nephrous energy push into the orb, and it suddenly turns into this black obsidian as one of the terracotta warriors changes from clay to blackest obsidian. And you see the process is slowly going down as if he's fighting something. But it goes, And it goes, and he is winning. Slowly, but he's winning.
Think this the terracotta, the clay army.
He nods, with or without the sword. With or with. Hey, what's going on in the background, guys?
Someone's mic.
Sorry.
Yeah, sorry. Okay, that was awful. Anyway, yeah, it says he's claiming the terracotta army for his own, with or without the sword. You need to stop him as well.
Okay. Let's add it to the list. Let's stop the Duke.
And there,
Is it an unknown armies reference to stop the Duke?
no. Oh, it could be. I don't know. It could be have leaked into my subconscious, right? I suddenly think about 33.
Yeah.
And the third one, he says one more, and he pushes out, and you see Wudang Shan, which I never get tired of showing. So I'm just gonna go to Wudang Shan's map.
Does that mean that we get to tell people about goat energy?
Pure goat energy.
Oh, I just realized that under your maps, you spelled Lao Lao as the yogurt place.
Yes, I did. Mao Wudang.
Because it's the goat, it's the greatest of all time, right?
In all of its splendor, burning, in flames and smoke, in ruins, as an imperial army storms the gates, and in the center, the heart of Wudang itself, you see the dragon well seized by a man in a eunuch uniform.
Oh.
Radiating pure goat energy.
Your goat energy.
Okay, so I guess that's our good friend, right?
That is correct. These are their paths. Sorry, these are their paths to ascension.
See. And I don't suppose you could show us hints of ours because that will influence our actions as well, right?
She nods. I cannot show you yours.
Okay.
You have your choice.
Thanks for the hints, Goddess. So we have to prevent these fixed points and canonizations might not occur.
Not. She nods. You catch on fast.
That's a lot more straightforward than I expected. Wow. I'm like
No, because you're all 绕圈子绕了这么久 already 嘛 so it's like, come on lah, give you all lah, because you're all like
we outlasted the goddess's patience until she gave us.
It's like, dude, what you're doing, dude. I like fuck it, like, come on, bring them to my office. I go and give them a performance review. These are your MBOs for Q3, okay? It's already season 3 and you haven't figured anything out. Please do these things.
We have been busy being absolute shite.
Then I must say, no lah, like actually when I signed the contract that wasn't part of the job.
No, get the PO. There are 3 POs out there. You must get it for Q3. Go.
3 lifetimes ago, I may have agreed to this, but this lifetime me is like, fuck this shit, I just want to eat some yogurt. I just eat some royal. Okay.
Oh, by the way, she also says, by the way, you may want to take a look at the tablets on the left.
Like, take a look at the tablets on the left.
Names have been struck out. Okay? There is Lao Lao's name has been struck out.
I see.
Another one's name has been struck out is the Wandering Dragon has been struck out. Yu Longzi. Another person's name that has been struck out is Cui Ming. Name has been struck out. Oh,
who's that, right?
yeah, the guy with the flawed dragon, the Dragon Plum practitioner, struck out. Several names you recognize through you don't recognize all of them, but you recognize some of them.
I look for the brocade guard.
The brocade guard is not there.
They're all not there.
All not there. They were never going to be canonized.
Yeah.
Let's not canonize the Dan Bayushi.
In Hokkien, it's called KLF. Oh no.
No, they're high.
In Cantonese, high quality KLF.
Yeah, so Lao Lao kena COVID, so they had to close that branch. Of course, they had to get to the root of things.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Do you say close that branch, then root of things?
Yeah. Yeah, so you see that on the left side are people who have been possibly canonized, but have basically, and you realize that you're actually somewhat responsible for at least a number of them.
Yeah, so it's kind of like we're going around closing off bad paths.
Yep. And also, by the way, Bai Cao Xian is also here, and Coco is also here.
I look at Cang Tian as we look at the tablets on left hand. I guess this is what heaven's will is then, isn't it?
Only for this tumultuous period of time.
It's just that we make it up as we go along.
You're getting it. We have some broad rules. There are certain things that we cannot do, absolutely cannot do. A mortal may never fall in love with an immortal. And even then, we found an exception.
Yeah, till the cows come home. Ha ha.
Yes. And now, every 7th day of the 7th month, I have to listen to that Lazada jingle. Do you know how much torment that puts me in?
So, alright. Oh yeah, right now actually it's the 9 Emperor Gods Festival.
Yeah,
so
I know, right? It's like, oh my god. And then there's the 1010 is, oh my god. Yeah, 1010 is like this Japanese accent mark. 1010. Anyway.
Yes.
And then is a Naruto ninjutsu
Okay.
ninjutsu
So
expert.
you have your path set out for you. You have all of these things. She says, I can send you to a place once you are done here that will connect you to any of these 3 places. You will have the ability to get to where you need to go. You only need to decide which one you wish to confront first. I am, however, not quite precise as to the timing.
So the 3 places is Terracotta, Burning of Wudang, and last one is Duke's here. So Duke's here walking around Terracotta. The basically the Burning of Wudang and the Dragon Well getting leech for energy. What's the last one?
The last one,
Xiangyang burning.
the sack of Xiangyang.
Yeah.
Or at least the fight between the Mongols and what looks to be a force that is backed by Zhurong.
Mm.
Oh my god, we are in caverns of time.
We can get nice to the 4交易周转 section.
It's like wait. Let me go and check. I go and read forward. Okay, read forward a bit. No, this one cannot. No, not so simple.
Okay, but that's great. But there just happens also to be a little bit of an issue of power differentials, great goddess.
She nods.
That person is not just a great demon horned around with like awesome magic. He also happens to be a great demon who's a duke. Yeah, you see. And this one happens to be very well placed and has lots of assassins and soldiers. And that one, is actually 2 armies. Yeah. And we are 4 guys who could be shites, in your own immortal words.
I recognize that. You
Only
have
at least one more guy who's a shite. That might equalize the situation.
She says, I've lent you my handmaiden. What the hell else do you want me to do?
He's got a point.
Yes, yeah. That's a great point. All right, we'll send the. We have at least one more person who is definitely not a shite. Yes. Okay,
and she says also, if you think of it, these things, you have more advantages than you think. You're only thinking of a straight out confrontation, right? Not all of you can be Nuwa. Sorry, not all of you can be Nerja. You have an advantage. She points at the sword of Longmu. You get there before he does. You can steal you can deactivate the army before he even starts.
I'm thinking.
Or hear me out. We take control of it, since we also know that there will be battles to be fought.
Entirely true. Steal it from under him.
Yeah, because well, Great Goddess, I'll be honest with you. I wasn't just thinking in the straight path. I was also trying to do the traditional Celestial bureaucrat thing of whinging for more resources. But I see.
She nods and she says, "You may cultivate here for a while. This place is rich with the energy of creation, but do not take too long."
Looking out for the team, alright? This is me sending an email to the CEO. Excuse me, can we have more funding? That's how to do random shit. Can you be branch manager? No, I want money. This is my not shy way of writing the email.
No, cannot share one.
That's why I started in calligraphy, because of the file so many fucking reports you haven't.
Is anyone else putting it? Okay, Awesome Rara has enhanced your cultivation. All right, that's fine. Your whatever you earn down here today, because Awesome Rara timed it really well, will be doubled.
Truly awesome.
Awesome.
Well timed.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean everybody else is doing it. Only for the first one. Okay. Oh, by the way, okay. So because I'm gonna run a bit of a shortish session today, because this is more like kind of my players are not quite getting it because the plot is not quite there, but I'm basically now opening your mouth and like here info feed. Okay. Exposition. Okay, so we can go and take a bit of a break while I explain to everybody what else is going on in this, because I've also implemented some fun features today apart from my sound, which is kind of working like maybe 90% of the time, but not all the time. Okay, so this is what I've managed to do. So I had now for karaoke, right? For any of you, if you hit the karaoke button, you can hit the commands, right? And you can pick any of the songs in song list down here and request any of the songs. Okay? So it's still 5,000 channel points, but you get to pick any of the songs. And if you don't like any of the songs in there, you can say to me, go learn a new song, Casey. Okay, and I will go and do Is it karaoke now? Did anyone redeem karaoke today? I don't think so. But I see. Yeah, sure, you can. Okay, just basta. You cannot find the specific song. I think you have to request it. I think you have to hit the request command. Can you try it out, Awesome Rara? If you can't, then that's fine. Okay, which song did you want? Maybe I'll just do it this way, and you can just I'll go try to fix the problems. Or did you want me to learn another song? Viper B, thanks for the follow. I'm using Talespire, but as you can tell, as other people can tell you, right? Because I'm a bit of an OCD builder nut, right? I'm fairly sure that the stuff that I build in this map is not as intended. Like, all of these are basically campfires. I turned it into a fiery snake's tail, and these are all like crystals that I've turned into a floating path. So yeah, this is what I do. I like making Talespire do things that are not intended. Yeah. Yeah, no worries. I thank you for that, and right now. I think we're having a short break. I think Awesome Rara, who is one of our regular viewers, is now studying the song list and seeing which one she wants me to do. Because she picked the karaoke, and I think that there's something wrong with the redemption. But anyway, and next time I should try it out. There is no Pak Zam song. I have not learned the Pak Zam song. Okay, although I've been tormenting my mother, the whole of today with it. Wow, Meng Ti? Oh, okay, can. Wait, let me go get my scores. I wasn't quite expecting to do it today, but give me a moment. By the way, it's my observation that Wang Meng Ti is very appropriate for this campaign. I've always said that this song is like the signature song, the signature song for Celestial Fuckery, which is basically the theme of this campaign anyway. How much fuckery can Celestial do? Okay, this one, let me try. Let me see. Okay. Okay, guitar. Let me try a bit first. Okay, can y'all hear this? So let me check the sound. Hồng chính siêu kỳ, hoa chính siêu.小水去，金菇来打顶，小哩小哩不知有啥意，世界太淡定，倒泪的消息，我的感情无你把。是是，我问起，我问起，敢袂当卖种你，可知爱你这挂是我家己。我问起，我问起，敢袂当。爱中你，想要放袂去，我不离不靠做10年，看我的哦，看讲是男人的泪，不敢面对现实，万中做10年。Okay, karaoke done. Hope you liked it. I will go and try and learn the Pak Zam song, okay? Although I have to learn it in like 3 different dialects. And the best thing about it is that I'm hoping that one of these days I can do the Pak Zam song for like a 东方不败 type of character. Then it's like, ni Pak Zam Bui. Okay, that would have been awesome.
Talking about Pak Zam in needle fights, right?
Yeah lah, that's right. It's like, oh, ni Pak Zam Bui. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I know. I've limited the karaoke to once a session because otherwise this might turn into a music extravaganza. Anyway, so yeah, is everybody back?
Yeah, I'm back and I figured out the plan. Yeah.
That sounds very sus.
What's your plan?
The plan to victory. I don't plan to fail. I only fail when the plan doesn't work. So I don't need plan for that. See, very efficient. I get both victory and failure at the same time.
Simi Lansai.
Okay, so the plan obviously is this, right? Is that you see, if we can space-time jump in advance to or like causality is big mess up. So we don't know when we're going to jump, but we can jump at some time to interrupt their plans. And then she already gave us so many hints already. The other hint is that Li Jing not very powerful, but managed to get his ascension for canonization through taming his tempestuous son, right? The ball of flesh that became spear-wielding, trident-throwing, fire-breathing.
He's the original murder hobo, the punk god of heaven.
So like Li Jing could get canonization. Essentially had to throw the pagoda on his son, right? Because he was like the heaven can authorize budget for that, basically. We needed someone to clean it up. So in this case, since there's all these people who are the force of activity, we are right now basically in the great Taiji, right? We are right now basically the universe's reactions to these things. So and in case we haven't thought of any paths to canonization, there's already 3 there that could be taken. The 2 wrong one we ignore first. Let's say that is actually the Pursuer of the Flames one, okay? But even if, let's say, we counter the Pursuer of the Flames attempt to become 2 wrong, that might play into Yifan's plan to become the 2 wrong inheritor. Because, by caging the flame, maybe you become a kiln aspect, a god of the kiln, a god of restraining fire, and a god of letting fire run amok.
Yeah, which is similar-ish to like some of the fire gods that came after Zhurong.
Yeah, like kitchen gods and kilns and forgers, right?
Correct.
So if we go and we basically cap, right, we gank this Duke's here, right, and we basically cut his plan out, we get 3 advantages, right? Because number 1, then we take out a big ass powerful guy in court. Okay. Number 2, we steal his weapons from him, so now we get an army as well. Then there's going to be a power shuffle around, which means that our Duke, right, once he gets down, right, maybe Little Seer, we really haven't have a path for ascension. Maybe we can just support Little Seer to come in and be the handing over of there, right? So we can get an ally on our side there. And also, if he gets displaced, his rival, the eunuch, may suddenly be like, oh, I need to step up my plans, or I need to basically move faster, or I want to steal some things along the way. But that simply means that we don't bother with the army first. After we take out Seer, we go take out the eunuch, okay? Then once we've taken out the corrupt elements in the capital, then the 2 emperor children, right, go in and we politically flex a bit, unite the things, then we position our army of golems and united people over to Xiangyang, and then we beat up the people there. We basically just do a procure on site over and over again, get resources along the way. So this is my 5-minute go toilet thoughts, basically. So this is the plan, right?
But we need allies.
You don't know if you're going back before or after the Mongol invasion.
That's true. So, but in any case, we can also go Mongol invasion now, because that's obviously the Sentiao Xiadi plot that we want to do. The second plan is no tactics. The second plan is you just want to fast forward to the DVD section where we see a lot of people doing Xianglong Sibazang.
Yeah. But the person who have taught you Xianglong Sibazang or possibly taught you Xianglong Sibazang is dead. He's dead. Yeah.
Well,
yeah. But that's the plan. That's my plan so far. We defeat Xie, steal his thing, defeat this, and we need to use that to protect Wudang as well, you see. And if we also get Wudang protected, we can get the impasse between the state, the empire, and the martial arts sect, right, the Wuling, right, can maybe find the Cold War can end, right, and we can basically get all forces to go over and fight that border practice. That's the overall plan.
And then after that, that's how the Xiangyang gets held out for 10 years, right?
Correct, because we're power leveling along the way to Xiangyang, is it?
Yeah. No,
along the way, people even develop trebuchets to destroy Xiangyang already. We're still running about doing this.
Okay, Ken. So, you guys can get. I'll award the XP later. You will probably level, so we can do the admin after this, because there will be no fighting. There will be no whatever it is for probably the rest of this session. You will find yourself when you're ready to go, let Niwa know and she will send you back. Because she's sick of she's like sick of your shit. I'm like, what the fuck are y'all doing? What the fuck are y'all doing? I put all the clues down there for you already. What the fuck are y'all doing?
I guess we
I
should
guess,
head towards the Terror
That's why
Doctor.
management doesn't understand operations, you see.
Okay. Hey, Drew, welcome back. Yeah. Hey, you can clip later, by the way, Awesome Rara. You're totally okay with it. I know, I think I did Wang Meng Ti in one of the previous episodes already. So, but this is a rerun, and you know, I'm always happy to do that. I'm always happy to do songs if people like them. And okay, so you're about to head back. Yeah.
Yeah, sounds great. So,
I look at Amu at this point is very curious about we know what Yifan wants for an end game, right?
Mm-hmm.
What about Kukang? What about Cang Tian? What do you all want?
That's a good question.
I want, I don't know, a day or two to fix where my head is because there have been a lot of revelations. I don't know about this. I certainly don't know about this Emperor business,
She says
along with everything we've discovered.
you are a descendant of a tribe that was at war with the Yellow Emperor many years ago in the founding of China. You are descendant of Chiyo, who is of the line of the Flame Emperors. So you have as much a right to legitimately claim the mantle of Zhurong as the Changer of Flames, if by blood, if not by merit. Also, should Longmu fall, you are also one of the possibilities for ascending to the line of emperors in China.
Oh, thanks for the death flag.
you yourself are death flag for 6 other
Hey,
people.
follow, I've run so many combats with you already, right?
Yeah, I'm not surprised also.
And every single time you go into a tough fight, right, you never survive it. Okay, I'm really deeply worried that I'll lose your character at some point in time, to a crit that I needed to build 2 backup plans into 1 character.
We need to get him adamantine armor as fast as possible.
No, we need to give him adamantine dice rolling, like roll higher than a 4, please. You have Lisa luck, okay? You have Lisa luck pre-dice tower.
You do realize that you know, I've been running games for so long that my player luck kind of hasn't been true.
Okay, you know what you need to do? You need to stream and run a game for me.
You're only saying this because you know I got Talespire.
I know you got Talespire. You can use my account. You can anghui all the hell you want, but run a bloody game for me.
You
Okay?
used up your lifetime allotment of Nick games already.
Where got? I run game for you also lah. You think? Okay, sorry. Anyway, this Nick and I go. For those of you who don't know, Nick and I go way back, like 20 plus years. Okay. Anyway. Okay, so when you're all ready, you will all start heading back.
We will jump. I look at Cang Tian. We should head towards Shanxi then.
Yeah, but I think that was my rough plan that I drafted out. I'm not sure whether you think that's wise. If I have no sentimental attachments to any of this, so I'm merely making the plan that seems to be one that will get us the resources and the most allies. We have a handmaiden of Noah helping us, but then I can't. She can probably hear me, but that's
I
not going to be enough for us to deal with all these things. So, what do you think? We prefer to go to Wudang instead and protect this.
I think you're right. We could go and snatch the terracotta warriors and march it straight to Wudang and stop all.
Stop all rubbish there, right there.
In fact, we not only march it straight to Wudang, you can march it straight to Luoyang and stop all the rubbish right there in Luoyang.
Yeah. So like step one seems quite clear to me, and I think like
And invading Luoyang sounds like a very good.
Oh, so we are finally playing Xianxia and the Legend of 10 Links, is it?
Yeah,
God, oh wow, ouch, please, no.
I just said Rojia, what's that? Rojia yesterday, is it? You know the Sanxi snack, the one with the
Okay, yeah.
the crispy flatbread, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
I just had it yesterday. Then I was thinking, Sanxi. Little did I expect that it was going to be a 10 rings one. Yeah.
Yeah, there is a 10 rings pun. Anyway, so are you all ready to go? Ready to go already?
Yeah, I
ah?
guess we'll go to Shanxi lor.
So, let's go to Sanxi. And actually, Kugang, you need some time to process your things, right? Would you like to talk to anyone about it? Right.
I mean,
you look like you're just suffering there alone.
Yeah.
I mean, what this is all those. What do I have to say? There's.
I mean, like you just saw your people get decimated, and
I mean, truth be told, I wasn't even aware they were my people.
that's true.
Well, like at least like the cosmic side of that relationship.
Yeah, it's
We were simple bandits. We were just criminals making our way.
This is
Like we always knew how.
in Xianxia, you are never basic. You are never simple, right? You even if you're simple, you will fall off a cliff, meet a white ape, pull out a secret manual from his belly, right? And get a gold ding 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 experience chest, okay?
Yeah, it's like imagine ape, going around in the manual in his stomach for so long.
Yeah, I know, it's like what the F, right? So anyway, okay, with that, she says, I will send you back.
Okay.
I said, what about Sui Xian and the rest?
She will be with you.
Actually, yeah, does Suisun know about this, actually? As I get teleported away, like, does Suisun know that she's your handmaid?
She says no, she doesn't. So please take care of her.
Alright, and I suppose you wouldn't like us to let her know as well, right? So everyone, I suppose we should keep mum?
You can say whatever you want. Whether she'll believe it or not is another issue altogether.
Yeah, I look at Amu and I say, like, okay, your choice, man. You get to now tell people what their fate is instead of other people telling you what your fate is.
I look at I just smile and I say, I guess we go to Shanxi, right?
Yeah. Oh no,
You've-
reality popping.
You find yourself at a very familiar place.
The tavern, right?
Yes. And you finally realize why.
I see.
The tavern is the crossroads of everything.
Yeah.
Include
Sigil version is the bar at the crossroads, right?
yeah, it's like the Spider Robinson bar at the end of the universe kind of thing. And I actually didn't set this up properly because I wasn't expecting you guys to come back so soon. But you're all quite chop curry pop because I think you are also sick of your shit already.
Oh, we're back here again.
Yes.
So soon?
Didn't they kind of tell us to not get back here?
They did.
Based on the timing.
Does Niwa care?
Nope.
Niwa does not care. And you came back, right? As you come back, you reappear literally on the floor of the and Ziyi and the barkeep come up and go, my god, where have you been?
I'm sorry, we tried to stay away.
You did. It's been a long while. Well met.
How long has it been since we last met?
How long?
Just to calibrate.
Ziyi, how long has it been? A year, maybe 2.
Okay, that's alright.
It's
okay.
you couldn't have come at a worse time.
Is it?
And
How bad is it? Has Duke said?
Is there ever a good time?
No, with you lot, I've learned never to expect anything good, and yet even then,
Actually, what's your special right now? What's the weekly special this week?
she looks at the barkeep and says, "You mean food, or you mean
Food.
we have Shanxi food."
Okay, then if you still have food, then I look at Amu and say, I think it's a good time, They still have food. We're not starving. At least we've established that at this time, right?
Why? Okay, sure.
He says,
I
"There's
thought we were
rumors.
supposed to
There are
find
rumors that the Jin army is being invaded from the north
What? What now?
now. In fact, it's been going on for several months.
Mm.
Luoyang is under siege.
What?
Yeah, I advise you not to go back there right now. Where have you been?"
Yeah.
by the
Cang Tian can explain.
of Clever.
Cultivator business, I say. Rather than I just say, cultivation business.
The Luoyang Roof Tile Association? I don't know. They'll have to go back to Luoyang and find out, or some rara. There is still food, but the Jin army does not look like they will hold out for much longer.
Right. So we're actually
Oh wait, hold on.
about that.
I just realized that I'm adopting Nuwas. Hold on. Yeah,
So
see.
alright. So
Get
Jin
the character
army
for Zi.
was- What about the various tribal allies of the Jin in the north? Have they all been scattered like the wind?
Well, it's been said that the Mongols have allies of their own.
Mm.
And the Liao army, right? You're speaking
Yes.
of. The Liao have a non-intervention pact with the Mongols. They get to keep their little empire. And in return, they do not come back and aid the Jin.
Makes sense.
I look around for Little Xie if he's there.
Little Xie is not here.
Okay.
Neither is Qinglong. Neither is Qinglong.
So, actually, that's great. And could we also ask you whether for some help about these matters?
You may. And you realize something about her. Just after you came back from this, right? You realize that she is... Maybe she bears a somewhat family resemblance to Niwa. Somewhat.
Serpentine way motion.
The serpentine motion, the serpentine moves. But she's not as plain speaking as Niwa, definitely. But she has some features that remind you of the goddess.
So then I look at everyone and I say then I kind of say I just kind of motion a word of clay behind my back, and then kind of shrug at them and say so any news on the Duke Xie front?
He's been awfully quiet. Ever since he's heard news of the invasion.
Cats are, when the cat is away, the Duke's going to play, right?
No, it's even more worrying than that. His power base is located in Luoyang, and yet he spent almost no time in Luoyang over the past months. It's as if he's managed to find something in Shanxi that has piqued his interest enough that he's spending most, if not all, his time there.
We need to go to the warriors now.
Yeah, maybe we'll just give you this hot tip so that you can sell it to any customers. But he's definitely up to something there, and we're on our way to do something there as well. So
I start walking towards the door.
You want to head to Shanxi now?
Yes. You have a very fast contrivance, maybe really nice horses.
Do you have a pathway to Science?
There is a pathway there, but maybe you need to sit down and tell me what's actually going on before I send you to your certain death. The Duke has the place locked up tighter than a eunuch's bottom.
Okay.
Strange analogy, I know, but it's the only one I could come to mind.
We need to get to the Terracotta Warriors. He's
The
probably
wh-
already there.
The what?
Army of the martial emperor. You know the
It's a myth. It's not.
I mean, we're all myths, you know.
She looks at you with a little bit of shock, right? And she says, if that is the case, then that would make sense. He's
claiming them for his own.
yes.
You need to go.
He can't. There are safeguards in there. It's locked beyond his ability.
The safeguards with me.
Then all the more reason why you shouldn't go.
So you see, like, he's not exactly caring about the safeguards anymore. Like, while we were away on cultivator business, Cao Tian tries to cultivate a look of mystery and fails terribly. But wait, I got performance, so yes, I shall be overly dramatic and say, well, we're away on cultivator business.
You are extra today. Extra.
Extra.
It's up to a pillar of creation, so must be them extra. Like my celestial bureaucrat self is like, wow, God, good. Now the CEO remember me. They may be annoyed with me, but they remember me.
It's the bureaucrat finally meeting PM Lee for the first time.
Yeah. I must annoy them so that they remember me. Whether it's a good impression, bad impression, I must make an impression. So, and I say like, well, we've got like he's got a way to corrupt and twist the magic to make it work for himself. You know, he's a smart guy, so he's been spending a lot of time looking for that. So if you have any strong magic support or any anti-magic counters that you might be able to work with, we appreciate any help. Want to join a merry band or very swashbuckly, suicidal, dangerous people?
She thinks for a while and she says, no, but there are things I can do to help. My adventuring days are long past. I am a fixer now.
Yeah.
But
So you know
there are some people. There is a crew that you can contact in There is a crew that you can contact while you're in Shanxi. This crew may very well mean the difference between your success and failure. They are tomb robbers.
Wow.
How appropriate.
Yes, indeed. One would say they are very skilled at their craft.
My Lara. Cannot.
My Lara.
Okay, awesome Lara.
Awesome, Lara. All right.
Awesome Lara.
Awesome, Lara should join us as a guest star as Rara Croft.
Rara.
Rara Croft.
Rara Croft.
She says they are tomb raiders, very skilled.
All right.
We can put you in touch with them. I have your permission to sell this information, of course. Girl needs to make a living.
Please do sell this information. Okay.
She says, I like the way you think.
I mean, you've been providing us with all this free stuff. I've been keeping tab, all right? So I gotta pay you sometime. Otherwise, it won't look good for accounting.
Why? Since when were you ever concerned about accounting?
This is literally the first time I'm actually here talking to you as a customer. The bad tab has been set up by my friends. They point at all the other dodgy Jianghu figures who don't understand dodgy Jianghu accounting.
Your dodgy friends are going, what? Me? No lah, where God?
You come to this town, only order water. Piece of shit. Then at 9:55, 10 o'clock closing time, they say, hey, I just want to make a quick purchase. All the retail magnets. Then I say, like, what do they take payment in, your friends? This tomb robbers.
They're going to take their share of the treasure in the tomb, so if there are things that you want from the tomb for yourself, stipulate that as upfront. the rest of the things they keep.
Are they good in numbers? I suppose they are, right? They're very exactingly good in numbers.
Indeed.
All right. So let's not talk vaguely things about like, oh, you can have some. All right. So let's be strict.
The tomb of the first emperor is rich beyond compare.
It's also trapped beyond compare. Yes.
Exactly.
And it's also reinforced by a duke's army beyond compare.
You'll have ways to bypass the traps if you can find a way to get past the army.
Sure, we can find a way to get past the army.
That's if the army is not reinforced by magical aids.
Dukes here is not allowed an army.
Yes.
That is the reason why
we established it a long time ago. He's not allowed an army.
he is not locking he's not locking down Shanxi with using an army. Not in the conventional sense.
He's using demonic magics and medicine men, right? He's using
That is correct.
High quality units and medicine men. 1 man is worth 10 or something.
Well, expendable anyway. Slaves, robbers, desperate men, no discipline. Easy enough to get, hard to fight, easy enough to sneak past.
Do you know any herbalists and who specialize in the Cang Tian says? I've heard of legends in the Jianghu of people who can assure that curatives do not work. If we're going to be dealing with all this medicine men, we've had some experiences, and would you happen to know anybody who might be familiar with either the chill touch cantrip or can get us some sort of mitigation of their medicinal regeneration skills?
Shui Xian says, she taps you on the shoulder.
Yeah, we got necromancer, of course. Yes, you will do that, right?
First things first, why am I here?
Oh, yeah, you're here because we are about to do important things. Yeah. Do you enjoy your 2 years of life taken away from you, Shui Xian? Yes, we are now 2 years.
Does that mean I'm 14 or 16?
For all the bad things, you are whatever we decide. For all the good things, actually we also decide. So you are 14 when you need to go to sleep, and you are 16 when you have to take responsibility. Okay? All right, okay. Then I take out two pounds and give her and say, "This is for your 15th birthday. This is for your 16th birthday."
Nom 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 nom.
I can handle children. I'm very good at this. Yeah. So yes, actually yes, about the poisons and things like that. Like, would you happen to know anyone?
She says,
know any resources?
your friend over here. He points at Yifan. He's a herbalist of some repute, right? And he also has that.
I look at Yifan. You have the.
I am. If you can find the right herbs, and the right ingredient, I can make anti-venom healing potions and even venomous.
Sorry, now that Drew is on the chat and he mentioned that I'm casting a shadow. Looks like I'm casting a shadow, right? I'm trying to give myself a hat using Talespire.
I see. Yeah, the chimney hat.
Yeah, the chimney hat. Yeah, there you go.
And
I'm a Buckingham Palace guard.
Very good.
Vampire, or even poisons if it's so.
Let's try to make him smile. The Buckingham Palace guard. Yes.
Yeah.
Poisons.
Like, yeah, actually, basically, because we fought with some medicine men before, and their regeneration.
It's quite scary. If you have to fight, you fought one and you barely made it across. You fight more than that. It's going to be quite strong.
And they did seem to have quite sharp senses in like how they track down things. Maybe they just had advanced information. Like the medicine men were fighting in.
Do we have more than one medicine man to deal with now, though?
You have potentially a couple of hundred, maybe thousands.
So, like, remember that the alchemical army we were talking about in the past, right? So, yeah, this is
So is this what C is telling us?
Ziyi is saying perhaps numbers. You're likely to meet handler gangs, right? Medicine men accompanied by desperate people to act as their spotters and to unchain them in the event of an emergency.
I really think that there is a way that we can sneak in without.
Be careful. Even if you're thinking of using magical means, the Duke is skilled with defensive magics in particular.
I understand, and I was thinking of more medicinal approach.
You have your two friends. You have your two friends from the first floor. They're still there. If you want to speak to them.
the two bards, right? The two Sunren, right?
Not Sunren. They are two dubious looking figures. One is a gnoll-ish looking guy. He's a goat man. He's a goat man. Sorry, and the other is a goblin.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I love. This makes me feel right at home. Dubious young figures.
Yes.
Let's go.
Dubious Jianghu figures. Let's do it.
There is some probable medicine that will make us to be that light will bend. I'm thinking of like oil of invisibility or something like that, or even
It will still be a magical effect, and it'll still be subject to things like dispel, counterspell, and stuff like that. So you can, however, do things like disguise your scent. You can do things like you can do things that allow you to pad more quietly. You can also you can also make fulu of 你看不见我, but that's also subject to magic lah. There's nothing that will shade you from sight, but there are things that will help you stealth more easily.
I could make like something that can aid us in stealth rolls, right?
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, like
oil of call it a sun, oil of slipperiness or oil of dispersal.
Oil of Ulan.
Oil of Mulan.
Oil of Ulan.
Ulan.
Oil of Ulan.
Yeah, removes all traces.
Remove all traces.
Oil of Ulan.
Can I buy some information from Ziyi?
It depends on what you want to buy, my friend.
All right. So the first one, I guess, is like a yes/no kind of answer. Like, I'm not sure whether I can afford anything beyond that for now. So could I buy a yes? I would like to find out about the medicine man plus magical security dukes here.
She says, no, that one would be covered under the fee that I will be taking from the treasure hunters.
I see. So there'll be some quanta that would pass to you as well, huh?
Of course, the girl has to make a living, and with due respect to you and your crew are poor as church mice.
That's very true. It's like along the way here, I had to rob some of the church mice for my food. I'm very ashamed. And,
We did?
No, it was a figure of speech.
Yeah, because you guys actually never stopped to. This particular group has a bit of a character trait, right? You guys actually never stopped to do things. You guys are very objective oriented, so I get that, and that's really good role playing. But it's also that you miss out a lot of chances to try and earn money as well, earn material goods. Because for you, it's all like about deed and all of that. So so she's not far off. She's like your Jianghu figures. You're above the whole the monetary concerns, but some Jianghu figures are not. Some of them are just murder hobos and they want to do it for the money.
No life skills.
Yeah. And I asked, all right. So if that's the case, I understand that the Duke is probably a very paranoid person who's along the way created a lot of little dukes who also have magical powers, and he's not going to be happy that disciples that he's used in some stupid scheme to get power can access his own thing. So probably he has a medicine man there to be a failsafe that isn't magic linked, right?
That is going to be Qinglong.
All right. So that's, and then because of this, the medicine man have an interesting trait in which they smell terrible. Am I correct?
In a manner of speaking. Depends on whether it's one of those things you either like Liang Teh or you don't.
It's like, I don't know, it's like it makes me feel as though like I'm okay with the 8 treasure tea, but when there's so much of it walking around, and sometimes, you know, tea doesn't actually sweat, but this medicine men do. It's like sweat infused tea. I'm not sure how I feel about that. But what I'm thinking about is if we have herbalism skills, in your expert opinion, since this is covered, would making our sense markers similar to that of the medicine men and looking at security gaps inside there allow us to travel in places where the medicine men, handlers, and their patrols go a little bit more easily.
I randomly chime in. You know, my uncle have a really good nose for tea. No, just thinking.
So suspicious.
And he says to you, do you want to purchase that information? I was waiting for you to ask.
Sure. Like, you know, what's the quotation? You want it in favors or goods or services?
She thinks for a while and she says, I would like an introduction to him. He will not meet me. He will meet me if I bring you.
Who would you like introduction to? Sorry, I missed that part.
He glances at Longmu, his uncle.
Ah.
He's kind of dead.
He's not.
He still believes that.
Everybody's.
Are you giving me that information for free?
No, I'm giving you that information in exchange for you putting in a word in front of your uncle, a good word, the most impeccable word you can manage out of that dog mouth of yours.
Why would it matter to you?
Because I've been waiting to meet him for a very long time. I have questions for him, and if you're with me, he has no choice but to at least look me in the eye.
And you never told me he was alive.
You never asked.
She got you there.
But I look at Longmu and said, everybody has been saying your uncle is alive. Everybody.
No, it's not Shen Wu.
It is Shenwu. They are both Shenwu. They are both Shenwu.
Okay, don't mind me. My head is kind of exploding at this point. I can't continue the rest of them.
Did Qinglong not tell you that Shenwu has this over fondness for complicating his life?
Yes.
Ta-da!
Having multiple persons does complicate your life.
He wanted you safe. But could not bear to see you whine and whinge about being bored at the tea house. So he disguised himself so that he could still maintain some kind of authority over you, and one thing led to another. If you haven't figured out by now what a twisted mind Shenwu is. She laughs.
How?
You've never seen the two of them together, have you?
No, I have not. They don't. But
You've only.
But steel is heavier than feathers.
This. Do you want to see him or not?
Yes.
Alright. Along the way, ask him for the formula to counteract the scent markers of Medicine Man. This should be a trivial task for him, and besides, he's the closest thing this universe has to Batman. He will be prepared to meet up with Qinglong.
When you punch him, right, he will say painful, yeah.
Oh, wow, that's so bad.
Alright,
It's okay.
so we will
His
meet up
English
with
name is Bruce Wayne.
Bruce Wayne. Oh my god, crossover! Okay, with that, it's coming down to about 11:30 already. Anything else you want to wrap up with here? Because next week you'll be playing the meeting with Shenwu, and then after that we'll start into the first phase of Operation Xianxia and the Legend of Ten Lings.
Oh god.
Yeah.
Sigh.
It doesn't get better.
Sure. I have nothing.
I have so many of these waiting, and it's like you guys are not going there. So like, okay. By the way, for the people who have been asking me how I railroad, right? This is not how I railroad, right? This is just making the obvious very obvious, because players can be really obtuse.
No, we've been trying to avoid Shanxi. Yeah.
No, I wanted to go to Shanxi.
Yeah,
Right.
no, Shao wanted to avoid Shanxi. And he, to be fair, he had a legitimate point. It's just that he didn't have the context of the situation.
Well,
I
yeah.
can't wait to have to avenge three spirits and save puppies, is it?
Yeah, lor. It's okay lah. I mean, you guys got there eventually lah. So
And now I have to traumatize a friend who finds out that his entire people who are not simple bandits and they're all dead anyway, except for two guys and a bunch of puppies. You see, so like there's a lot going on for us as well.
oh my, oh yeah, hold on. Curry pork, my curry pork hair is now on Discord. Let me take a look. The hell, fans to like. Okay. Oh my god, hey, that's actually pretty damn awesome, man. This is like, I should make this my avatar from now on.
Oh god.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, I know. I actually I should do Better Man one of these days. I need to do the intro. I need to learn the intro. Okay. Anyway, so with that, we're going to wrap up this session. It's been kind of a little bit more irreverent than normal. I strongly suspect that we went down this path since last session and everybody's just expressing their psychic trauma, but that's fine with me. And next week we will start.
Today felt like an episode of Deadpool.
Episode of what?
Deadpool.
Deadpool.
It did lah. It did because it's like, what can I do? Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
We are going to raid Carney Sideshow.
Yeah, let's go read Kani Sideshow.
Do we
Okay.
need to level up or anything in between before next session?
Yeah, you do need to level up. You do need to
Yeah,
level.
because we are close to leveling already.
Okay, I will let you know whether I'm sticking to Paladin by next week then.
No.
This is
By Wednesday, guys, because I need some time to plan my adventure. Okay. Anyway, drop out the stream. Thanks everybody.
Good night.
Okay,
Good night, good
raid
night.
Carney.
Good night, everyone. Thanks for coming.
Bye bye.
Hey, thanks for coming.
Today's show is sponsored to you by Shanxi and the Legend of Ten Lings. Bye.
Bye. It hurts. It burns.
No, that was so